Hey, hi, hello everybody. Welcome to the Jounge. I'm your host Keygrath, and welcome to a very special episode of Home, a unique horror adventure by Benjamin Rivers. I bought this game back in 2012, and I don't even remember playing it. I may have picked it up and played a little bit, but we'll figure it out. It's told me to keep the lights off and the volume up, but it's also 10 p.m. at night, and I am quite scared. Let's get to it. Your game will be saved automatically at certain points, but aside an hour and a half and complete home in a single sitting. Okay. I could probably do that. See, yeah, right here. All I remembered at that point was finding myself alone. I don't know the controls. Is it on? Oh, my head. Where was I? It was so dark. Oh god, those windows. There was something by my feet. A flashlight? Okay, looks like we're off to a good start. As you can see, I am nameless man with a flashlight. Oh, that's creepy. That house. Where was I? Oh no. There was a body. Lying on the floor. Who was it? Jeez, cat, calm down. It's just the middle of the night with a flashlight doing nothing. So I think this might be remembering what's going on, not actually doing any, it's in the past, right? Check out the plant. Let's go downstairs, it seems safe. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. Well, first of all, I'm gonna go back upstairs to kind of, gather more stuff. There's probably items and things and collectibles. There's a dripping. Gross. These doors and stairs remind me of Resident Evil 1. I love it. Computer. The desk had a computer and some papers on it, and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Oh, I didn't know this would actually have this kind of consequences, so yes. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. Man, I'm walking really loudly. I mean, the lights are on. Like I said, it's 10 p.m. at night here where I am. But I'm still creeped out by this. And I'm just wandering around. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area. And this is creepy. I don't want something to... Please don't do that ever again. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. A black and white photo. Looked like the man upstairs, and his wife, I guessed. There was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? Of course. I slipped the photo into my pocket. Maybe this would help me find some answers. At this point, maybe I was just an accidental bystander. Whoever knows. That way looking? Yeah. Scribbles of all kinds of random scraps of paper and notes about some kind of water tower. Do they mean the one by the old train yard? Scribbles on all kinds. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. So maybe if I read it twice, I get 2 different things. A thin gray mouse was stuck in the trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? I think I should free it. Yeah, there you go, mouse. That's gonna bite me in the ass. The mouse is gonna bite me in the ass, isn't it? A collection of rusty tools. These look like they'd seen a lot of use, and were caked in damp-smelling dirt. Why weren't they in the shed? A photo similar to the old one I picked up. It had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? I think I pushed the switch. It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Ugh, I don't like these pixelated horror games. Oh, okay, that's a lie. I love them, but they creep the shit out of me all the time, because it leads more to the imagination. I mean, yes, horror games are fantastic, and with lots of graphics, you see the exact horror, but these guys give me so much more horror in general, because of the imagination. Like, you get just the faintest imagination of, like, that's what the guy looks like. And then you got to see kind of like guess what it is, and that's the stairs, and you don't know what's going down. You just kind of look. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. But was it mud? It was probably blood. The door was taped up and seemed to be stuck. By a smell, I guess it led to the kitchen. The switch in the wall appeared to have unlocked the door. Where am I now? The box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I had found a way out. I must have moved it, right? I heaved the box forward, and it finally gave. But I also went back to check for more secrets. Oh shit, the door is open. I'm going to die. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard. Ocker. Last one, I promise. It didn't make much sense at the time. The mouse again. Cause and effect. Oh! So maybe the mouse will unlock the door. I was worried for a second. Can I check the fridge? Am I hungry? The smell of old dishes and moldy food was dizzying. Creak. Another door. The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wondered if it was the man's wife who did the cleaning. Or him. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. I cannot wait to get out of this dark house. The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I had to find another way out. What if I can run? I can't run. I can't run. I thought I might be able to run, but I can't. I went down the ladder. There was a ladder going underground, where the box was. A dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? Yes. Climb, climb, climb. I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant. Looked distant. Like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. Footprints in the dirt. Looked like more than one kind, and a lot of traffic. Places all over were marked on the old map of town, the industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from the local paper. They were all about murders in town over the last few years. Wait. There were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. I've got to go back! Those boxes would have allowed me to climb up the ladder again, but I didn't want to go back up there. Not with that body. All that blood. Do I have like an inventory? I think I found all the information in the house. I'm guessing at the end of the game I get some sort of like list of what I found, and I think I found everything, but who knows. A work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I? If I hated guns, I probably didn't. I didn't even want to touch the thing. Better I left it right where it was. A work table covered in papers, dirt in the handgun. I hated handguns. Didn't take it. No, I did not take it. Didn't even want to touch the thing. Better I left it right there where it was. I mean, I probably don't want to get my fingerprints all over it or something, so, you know, whatever. Climbed the ladder. It was so dark down here, down there, and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? It was a ladder. My God. So at the very least, I also have my contacts in, because I got contacts ordered, because I could not see for the life of me. So, my God. Thank God I got the contacts. The desk looked old and was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old, faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out, and illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Ol-ro. None of it made any sense to me. Either, bud. Don't worry about it. Some kind of homemade rack slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Crudely made shelves. They looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom. Something wet. That place was getting worse all the time. I knew I had to keep moving. Oh, I need to double check everything. The slight fumes that still emanated from the cans made me dizzy. I should have double checked everything. That's what happens. The smell in that room was like old grease and rot. I wasn't getting any closer to finding anything useful. Yep, that's the case here. As I have to double check everything, and unfortunately I haven't. So let me just double check everything up here quickly. Double check the gun area. Double check the maps. Oh, Rachel, please be okay. I wanted to rush home, but I had to find a way out first, and I needed to see what else was down there. The guy upstairs must have done this, but what was his interest in the water tower? Some of the markings matched the scribbles I saw on the bookshelf upstairs. Whatever this place was, it was obviously used a lot. Those boxes would have allowed me to climb up the ladder again, but I didn't want to go back up there. Not with that body and all that blood, like last time I said it. Still the same. Just gonna trot along over here, yeah. So I unfortunately must have missed something already. So if I do get any points like I said before, then I'm missing some points already. Nothing about Rachel and me was written there. Maybe I need to keep looking. Door. There looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and their remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up amongst the dirt looked familiar. They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. Was this the man's wife? I wondered what would I have found if I had dug deeper. I should have grabbed the... Oh, man. I should have grabbed the shovel. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna grab the shovel. I'll be right back. I'm gonna reset the whole thing. Yep, that's me. Hey, I'm back. I've double-checked everything, I have triple-checked everything, and I've gone to exactly where I was. I could not get the shovel. I tried. If there was a special way to do it, I did not figure it out. Let's go. That looks like a person. Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing here? If I was scared before, I was terrified now. Why were the photos of our house there? And these clothes? Was that why I was there? I checked my back pocket and realized my wallet was missing. Did I come to that house, or did somebody bring me? Yeah, that's right. Just disappear. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. Just walk right over it. It's fine. Hey. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Yes. Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. Hey, buddy. Long time in here? Yeah, I bet. Oh. I have the rope now. There must have been a use for it around somewhere. If I could grab the hook off the wall, too. The rope I found would have let me climb down the ladder. climb down the broken ladder safely. Did I climb down? Yes. Whew. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. The ladder was too high to reach. I must have tried to find a way out from where I was. I'd hope I wouldn't see those bats again. I keep thinking I can raise the light. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out. Danger due to cave-in. I wanted nothing more than to get out of there. Ooh. My hands tingle from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had just jumped down. Still, it was all I could do to not have rushed out of that awful place. That rack, those terrible tools. What the hell was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a beat at the sound. As I peered ahead into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken that gun I saw. But me? With a gun? An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up that must have been a sore landing. My leg ached just thinking about it. There was dirt on the ground. It looked wet, and there was grass smeared within it. Odd. There was similar dirt on my own shoes. Strike the door. I could hear a faint trickling sound, like water. What was that? A kitchen knife, covered in drying blood. Thinking about made it sick. Didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? No. I was relieved to leave the filthy knife right where I found it. I don't think this guy's a killer. Everything point to it, but I don't think this guy's... Okay. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Same thing. That's the same lock noise, I think, from everything else. It's just the regular noise. I'm going to steal that myself. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. Through the dust, I could see handprints from previous use, probably from whomever worked in those sewers. I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? It's not a weapon, so sure. Whatever these valves did, this one wasn't pumping water anymore. Hello, room. I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Yep, again. The valve was still active. Did I turn it again? No. Let's just leave it on for now. 3. Wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it? Yes. Wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Yes. Just turn all the valves. That seems like a good idea. I don't see why not. Nothing's telling me not to do it, so I'm sure it's fine. Whatever these valves did, this one wasn't pumping water anymore. Did I break you? Through the dust I could see handprints from previous use. Yeah, it's the same as before. Did I break everything? I probably did. Door was locked still. So I'm going through the exit ladder. Knife right at the door, I'm saying. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. Oh. I think I know what I'm supposed to do with these things now. So, number 1 is done. That door's locked. So, back over here. 2. I thought I could turn this water valve to shut off its flow. Did I turn it? Yes. I thought I could turn this water valve to shut off its flow. Did I turn it? Yes. Looked like I turned off the water flow in this valve. Oh, I see. Okay. Good thing I did that before. I was smart. Yeah, I just don't think this guy's the murderer or whatever. Okay. Come on. I can't turn it anymore, so maybe... I thought I could turn this water valve to shut off its flow. Did I turn it? Yes. That might be the case. Let's see. That could be the one. Nope. Man, if only this guy would run, but I guess he is limping, so that makes perfect sense. So what do we know so far? We've woken up at a random house with blood on our shoes and pants. In the hallway, there was a man No, I left the valve alone. There was the man who was dead, who we don't know how he died. There was the buried wife. There was the buried wife. There was a skeleton in the wall. And there's a bunch of pictures for, I guess, the husband or the man of the house. So not this character here, but the actual man himself, who was on the ground. So he was there. So maybe I chased after him or something. Please let me get to the water. Turned off the water flow in room 1. Leave the one for now, I guess. Let's left the valve alone. Turn off the water flow in this valve. Yes. The valve was still active. Did I turn it again? Yes. The valve was still active. Did I turn it again? Yes. Looks like I turned off the water flow in this valve. Okay. So that's the case. I'm just an idiot. I have to turn them more than once. Come on, key. Thought I could turn this water valve to shut off its flow. Did I? Yes, I did. The valve was still active. Did I turn it? Yes. I don't understand how this stuff works, apparently. Okay, I'm not an idiot anymore. Looked like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of ransomware. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the small key, but it was so odd-shaped, I had no idea what it might open. I'm gonna go check that door. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Can I use the key? Do I have an inventory? Use the key. I can't use the key. Well, okay. Let's carry on. The safety poster had definitely been seen better days. How old was that facility? The faded paper was yellow and dusty, but there it had obviously been wiped off recently. The door was locked. I could see a faint light within. The door was locked. I could see a faint light within. Can I please use the key on something? Like, try out the key, buddy. You have a small key. I'm pressing all the buttons and I can't do shit. There's no doors. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what had happened. I couldn't help but wonder if someone was watching me from the other side. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. He was a mess, but it looked like he had been stabbed. I could see a key ring that had fallen out of his pocket. Did I take it? Yes. I worked up the nerve to snatch the keyring ring and put it in my own pocket. You're damn right I'm going to double check those doors now. I used the keyring to unlock the door. The shelf full of security tapes was strictly organized, though covered in dust. Must have been old, if they were still using VHS. Odd. One of the tapes was missing. Wonder where the other tape was. The security desk was dusty, and there was a dirty coffee cup there. The VCR looked like it still worked. The security desk was dusty, and there was a dirty coffee cup. The VCR looked like it still worked. So I have to go find the security tape, which might be in the other dusty room, which is back this way. Knife. I tried a bunch of the keys on the keyring I had found on that sewer worker, and one of them seemed to fit. A collection of stale liquor bottles covered the floor. That room didn't seem like much of a place for drinking. What was the point? The wall was littered with dozens of old, faded papers. Whoever did this was obsessed with some local murders. According to some of the clippings, bodies had been found in ravines, in the forest, and in one case, dumped in the back of an abandoned truck. I couldn't be sure, but I thought some of these same articles had also been pasted up back in those tunnels. Did that sewer worker find this room? Is that why he was killed? A faded receipt was half trampled on the floor. It was from the local train station, and was for 2 tickets. I didn't know what use it could be, but did I keep the receipt? Yes. I neatly folded the soiled receipt and slipped it into my front pocket. That entire room was a mess. Actually, I'm gonna double check that sound quickly. Ugh. Okay, let's get moving. I'm going this way. Jesus. That actually spooked me. Whew. This is whole ambience so far, but like that actually got me a little bit. Been here, right? Yeah, it's a security room. Oh, that old tape is. Maybe I can come back here if I find the tape. That'd be neat. That'd be a lot of walking. Sewer grate. Yep, I've already been here. Was feeling even more sick from seeing another dead man. I didn't want to get any more blood on my clothes. Door. I could smell a hint of fresh air here. Was it close to the exit? I was anxious to leave, especially after seeing what I had. But was there more? Can I go back? I'm gonna go back and double check. Because this game definitely has a go back and double check everything. So I'm gonna go all the way back, maybe find like a VCR, cassette tape. Blech. A VCR. I already found the VCR. That's similar to my own shoes. Seems better to press on. Have I gone up here yet? Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags. There were rips and tears in most of the bags. What looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? Yes. With the tape, but I took it anyway. Did not want to keep digging through this mess. Well, I found it. That was easy. Time to get going. There was dusty VCR on the security desk. I wondered what was on the VHS tape I found. Did I play the tape? Yes. Oh no. The video showed a man right there in the sewers being attacked. The tape looked fuzzy and stretched, like somebody had tampered with it. It looked like there could have been two men. I couldn't stand to watch the video again. Well, I'm severely creeped out, because, I mean, either one of the men is me, or one of the men was the guy in the house and that sewer worker, or the sewer worker and somebody else entirely. But I think I found everything. The ascent was slow. My leg ached, but I felt desperate need to escape. The thought of the videotape still gave me chills. Who was it that didn't want to be seen? Was it the same person that hid all those newspaper clippings away in that locked room? As I reached the top of the ladder, part of me hoped I would never know. I pushed aside my thoughts as I struggled with the latch above me, and I swung the cover to make my escape. I caught the scent of fresh pine trees. Door. An old ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I can climb it. Did I extend the ladder? Yes, I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. I saw those eyes. Hey, buddy. Monster, right there. Hey. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I hewed open the rusty door. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly. Cool. So many eyes. I don't know if I'm going. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting the decrepit structure. Bleh, words. I am going too far into the story, I think. I'm gonna go back. That one's just creepy. They extended that for like no reason. Oh, come on, man. Creeping me out here, buddy. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes in this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here, the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river, maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. I almost wish I had paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been less nervous about entering that dark forest. Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna not go into the bushes quite yet. I'm gonna go into these bushes. Picnic table. The worn picnic table stood within a circle of trees, like an altar. It was covered in faint markings and carvings from who I assumed were previous campers and hikers. I read some of the names and notes on the table's surface. Uncle Phil, Henry, Daniel, Ari, Tron, Kumar, David, Jenny. Seemed like the table had seen a lot of use over the years. I read some of the names. Okay, yeah. Yep. The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. Did I cross it? In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try. Maybe there was another option. As much as I want to try, like, you know, some night swimming, I think I might have better off not done that. Let's go to these bushes. Blocked off there. Through the fence, I could see a dilapidated outbuilding. Wonder if I could find my way around. Well, maybe these bushes. I heard that. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in these woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? Two folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. Whoever was here left this place in a hurry, but why? The cheap dome tent slept two people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, two backpacks, and a cooler. I felt like if I kept rooting through the campsite, someone would walk in on me. So I should do it anyway. Damn it. I heard that, though. I heard you walking around. I will go here. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there, too. Did I read it? Why wouldn't I just take it and read it somewhere safer? Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was a page after a warm page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. Rachel. Her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The name Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. I think this is the right way I have to go. No. Don't look. No. You're damn right I'm gonna look. I'm creeped out by it. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. There was a damp-smelling plank leaning against the stall door. I might have been able to cross the river with it. Did I take it? Yes. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. There wasn't much in this way of clean water there, but a sink did work. This sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been an exit to the other side of the woods. I didn't know who was camping back there, but I couldn't bear to stick around to look for them. I just wanted to get out of there. How do I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. I need to go back to cross the river, I think. I also need to examine that house. That's the way to the place I was just at. River, maybe? River? This way? Yes, this is the river. It's gonna... The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Did I use it? Yes. Please don't break. Did I cross back over to the other shore? Not yet. I thought that noise there was the bridge breaking. Stop creeping me out, damn it. 2 bodies, 2 young women, were half dug into a hasty shallow grave between the trees. The younger looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? No. The thought of touching those poor girls almost made me sick. I left everything right where it was. The police could sort it out. Unfortunately, I think I have to do it like that because the police, exactly. I don't think touching them... Yes, I did cross back. I don't think touching the bodies is a good idea. Where's the house? I found the house. So creepy looking. This place is just crazy. This whole thing just makes me a little ill. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. The station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town, after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher looking paper, covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. It looked like someone had been leafing through the old ledgers, looking for something. A name, perhaps. Escape route? So I found the escape route, basically, of the person who's running away from all these murders. These grisly murders. Because I'm in the forest? Huh? Yeah? No, it's not. It's fine. Yeah. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train roads connecting to that old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course! The map I had found in those tunnels had similar locations marked. The notes I found in the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower, and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? The sorry condition of that place seemed sad somehow. But also ominous. That reminds me, I have to go check the water tower as well. In the torn opening of that ruined train were heaps of dirt and stale water. At the bottom I thought I saw a scrap of cloth. As I looked closer, I could see that it was definitely some kind of nylon. Maybe a windbreaker, or some other outdoor clothing. There was too much of a mess on the ground to see any kind of footprints, but someone, or something, had definitely trod a regular path. The wind was biting through my thin clothes, and I wasn't sure what else to make of this place. Do I not take the jacket? I guess I don't. I'm gonna go back to the water tower now and discover more. I wonder who this guy is. Like, he and his wife Rachel. So we know his wife's name is Rachel. Or his girlfriend, let's say. Significant other is Rachel. Where is the water tower? Is it to my right here? Yes, it is. Climb, climb, climb. More of those bats, eh? In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up-old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? The wallet was missing ID and cards. End cards, but it had a bit of cash left in it. I slid them in my back pocket and wondered where my credit card and driver's license were. Did I put this up here, or was somebody else carrying it? From the railing I could see over the woods and down to the entrance of the sewers. Had I come through there before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. It was getting cool up there. I shivered with an uneasy sense of what I was to come. How would I get home from here? I wonder if you check things Is this the way I've gone already? No, this is too far to the right, I think. So I want to get that jacket. I'm not going back in the sewers, screw that noise. But to get that jacket, I wonder if it's important. Is it my old jacket? Or those old clothes that were left there in the sewers? What does this say? Poison? Animal? Something like that, maybe. I'm never going to double check to see if I can't get that jacket now that I've actually got that triggered event. Possibly this game might only have triggered events like that, so I might have to go all the way over here to pick up the jacket after I found out where that water tower, where the wallet was, saying it was cold and stuff. The wind was biting through my thin clothes, and I wasn't sure what else to make up the place. Okay, now I'm going back. I don't know if there's any like actual like interaction in this game apart from you and inanimate objects, but this game definitely creeps me out. I'm just gonna go right this way. Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna go left this way. Now, how do I get back to the river? No, not the river. The other place, and that's not this place. Back to the exit. Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. Wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did it take back my credit card? Yes, of course. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. That wasn't there before, everybody. That was not there. Huh. I now have to try and figure out what else might be stashed around here. Anything else? I can only think about how much I needed to get home to make sure Rachel was okay. Who else was out there in those woods? The quiet of the forest was suffocating. I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched. Did this tent belong to those two girls? Oh man. Yeah, I just asked that. I'll have to check in here and double check and see if I can find my card and stuff in here. There wasn't much in the way of clean water there. Nope. Nothing. Nothing. The stall was covered in dirt and filth. This washroom was obviously hadn't been cleaned in a while. That's it. Let's get my butt back. Maybe it's this way. And this way. No, I went backwards. So I think it's this way, and then that way, and then this way. Yeah, here we go. Get my butt out of here. The forest started to thin out a bit, and through the trees I could make out parts of the town beyond, and the first hints of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel on my neck like a warm breath. Those girls I had found. Someone had taken them from their campsite and murdered them. Was it the same person who had left that odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe, and to find a way to reach Rachel. I'm just gonna walk his path. And, yeah. Safe. It's fine. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed, almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. I'm gonna double check. Hey. Well, that creeped me out. That definitely got me. I had to press on and thought that yeah. That was a person. Oh man. I'm gonna get murdered with all my gusto. I am being watched. That's for damn sure. Where am I now? One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around, like someone had been looking for something. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. There we go. I couldn't get the word. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. So no power was on yet. I turned the power. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box beside it. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box underneath the handle. A sign was pasted to the front door, that said, "Closed for repairs." Old work clothes had been picked through, and a few photos and notes had been ripped off the door and spread around. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons, and notices. There were notes to take. There were notes to and from the guys that worked there. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Norman took over a general store after the factory closed. He, Rachel, and I would get lunch every now and then. Rachel liked him because he seemed more positive, despite the setback. Don't think I could say the same about me. A power panel. Look, it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Yes. A locker. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but was scratched out, and the face was unrecognizable. That woman's photo. I knew I had to get back to Rachel to find out what happened. A power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push it? Yes. It was shut tight. There was a rusty-looking card slot in the side. The panel seemed to be working again. The power panel still wasn't working. Did I try again? Yes. There we go. To the right now. Our old break table. The layers of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. Odd. It seemed like some beer bottles had been used on the table recently. They weren't as dusty as the rest of it. Still creeped up by that guy back there. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented, like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. My head ached, and I recalled the last time Norman, Rachel, and I all had lunch together. Rachel seemed so much more at ease when we all hung out. Another panel I had hoped could help me get the power back on. Did I push the switch? Yes, I did. A utility shelf, crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer? It's technically a weapon, but it's not covered in blood or anything, so I'm not worried about it. Yes, I did. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. From mismatched tools, and there was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the hammer? Yes, I did. I did take the hammer. That's why I said I did. The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom, though, was a magnetic card. Did I take the magnetic card? Yes. Slipped the key card into my pocket. From the musty smell, I assumed no one had used this locker for a long time. Another panel I hope could help me get the power back on. Did I push it? Yes. Didn't work. Did I push it again? Of course I did. Did I push it one more time? Yes. Do I do this one the same way? I wish I could speed through this. It'd be nice. Sweet. This is what all those years of electrical technician training did for me. I can push switches. I stuck with the hammer. After I moved that plank, I left the hammer on the floor. This was my locker. There in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. This room was nothing but bad memories. The floor was littered with old liquor bottles. I wonder if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. Reeked of the sour stench of leftover liquor. I mean, I think liquor's pretty great personally. Not like, obviously, too much, but like, I like liquor. I think drinking's okay. As much as any regular healthy amount is. If there is ever a healthy amount of liquor to be drunk. The keycard I found seemed like it would pass through this reader. Did I use the keycard? Yes, I did. And turned the handle on. Was it you? There was some kind of ventilation hatch there. It looked like I could jump down to the room below. My leg hurt enough as it was, but I couldn't see another option. Did I jump? Not yet. Why would I do it now? There had to be another way. Are you kidding me? I've screwed myself over. Great. We'll land on the other one, I guess. Whoa. My leg hurt like hell. There was a crumpled up letter on the floor. It had been scratched out heavily, and it was hard to make out. Did I try to read the letter? Yes. Most of the letter was violently scratched out with what looked to be a ballpoint pen. All I could make out was, need to. Just don't. Drinking. Need Norman. Who was Norman writing to? Please tell me I can actually get around that room at the top of the plant, the one with all the bottles. It was really getting to me. Maybe I was just distracted. Who went up there and used that room? As I exited the factory, I didn't recognize where I was going. My head ached terribly. My leg was a mess. Crap. Alexa behind me. Oh, okay, well I missed some stuff. I hear that behind me. Just gonna keep, hey! That's what I thought. Just gonna keep going. Nothing happened. I'm not being followed. I'm not scared. You're scared. That's right. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food in slick black bags. I saw a thin, greenish corner popping out of one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Of course I did. I cleaned the card off as best as I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet, next to my credit card. It sounded like it was going to start raining again. Don't see it. Don't see the rain. I headed into the Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet, except for the faint sound of a television. The entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. Looked like I couldn't just pop it open. It needed a key. There was a bit of blood in the keyhole. Of course there was. Hope Norman's okay. TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. I couldn't make out what was on the screen, but that glow just gave me the chills. Oh no. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been killed trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? Yes. No. Yes. Wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly I closed Norman's eyes. The poor bastard. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. I'd never been to Norman's place before. At least, I didn't remember ever doing so. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yeah, of course I did. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. There were takeout containers and food scraps. Little Norman was eating for 2. I'm gonna Jimmy open the door with that bobby pin. That's what I'm gonna do. Poor guy. The glow just gave me the chills. Yep. What are you? What was this? Looked like a pull chain hanging from the ceiling. I don't know where it led. Did I pull the chain? Yes. Give the chain a single tug, and a simple falling ladder to the attic popped down. Huh. I almost missed that. Nope. Oh, I thought that was a... I'm gonna go right back up. I thought that was a thing. That little brown thing, this thing right here. Yeah, I thought that was a thing. What secrets do you have in your attic, buddy? There was a large cardboard box that hadn't been sealed. Did I open it? Inside the old cardboard box was a pile of clothes, photos, and even shoes. As I looked closer, I realized they were Rachel's. What were you doing here, Rachel? Were you responsible for poor Norman downstairs? The items in the box only made my head spin more. I desperately needed answers. So now that even the wife is incriminated, or at least Rachel's incriminated, could she have killed Norman? Could I have killed Norman? Who the hell am I? Like, that's the thing, it's like, who am I as a person here? I wasn't entirely surprised to find this there. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. I always wondered what happened to it. How long had it been there? There was a little bit of something dark staining the sleeve. Probably blood. Did Rachel have an affair with Norman? There was a well-maintained gun cabinet here in Norman's room. Didn't know much about guns, but looked like he kept a few hunting rifles. Knew Norman hunted occasionally, but I didn't know him to be such a collector. A little bit of something dark staining the sleeve. He used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. Oh, at least the door opened. That worked. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. Never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. Rachel was having an affair with Norman. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. I wondered if someone had robbed the place before killing Norman upstairs. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. What was the matter, Norman? Cheated on your hydro bills too? Wow. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. Of all the postcards, that one seemed to be the most popular. There were only a few left. That night continued to take horrible turn after horrible turn. It had been weeks since I had last seen Norman, but to find him like that... Who could have done that to him? Seeing the dusty box of old clothes was a shock. How long had they been there? And what was Rachel doing at Norman's place? I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers, but I was close to home. It was time to find out the truth. I'm not sure which one's mine. Am I supposed to know? There's 3. There's 4. How far can I go? Okay, just 4. Well, I was trying the door number 4. It had the wrong gate. This one was locked. Okay, so door number 3. The door led me back. I had to find my house. Come on. I hope I didn't lose anything right there again. Who knows, really? This game forces you to continue on with the story, so you have to double check everything. So in my mind, double checking every door, and hopefully I was assuming I wouldn't get to the right place right away. Neighborhood's local post box. The letter was sticking out as someone had pushed all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did you look at the letter? Yeah, sure, why not? The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Norman, I'm saying this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but he is my husband and your friend. I need some time to sort this out away from you both. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him. Norman, so don't you think... I'm going to tell him, Norman, so don't you think you can hold that against me. Maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I ever even want to, but he deserves at least that much. Goodbye. I didn't know what to think. My mind was racing, my heart pounding. I had to get home. I just had to. So the first door here. The gate was locked tight. This wasn't my house. It was my house. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. Why is there bloodstains everywhere? Like, did this guy go crazy? Is that what's happening? I think this guy actually might have gone crazy now and murdered everything. I entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. Yeah, I'm actually a little afraid too. I think I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. I think this guy might have actually murdered everybody. Possibly, but then who was the guy who was following me in the forest? The house was painfully quiet. And the only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flickered the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? The table was clean, hadn't been used any time recently. The door to the basement, it was locked. Where had I put the damned key? There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long I had been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did they open it? Ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from inside. I couldn't go out, though. I needed to see if Rachel was here. So I've been gone a long time. Door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Yeah, I had to double check, see if it would give me something else. Oh, Rachel, where are you? I'm home. I had found the last missing piece from my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminded me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Because I got drunk. Stolen identity. Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. Felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. Rachel was pretty angry about that, I realized. It's a TV, guys. Like, you have a house, you need a TV to watch things and to recuperate and relax. Hello? The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked at more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remembered owning it, but not that edition. My wife's, Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had a feeling what was in it. Did I open it? Inside Rachel's suitcase were a few days' worth of clothes, some personal effects, and a train ticket. As I stared at the ticket, I could feel myself flush with anger and resentment. The date and time matched the receipt I had found. Rachel, why? Were we really going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? I think maybe this guy was a monster. If all the drinking and the murder and everything, it seems like it started off with this, and then after a while of somehow getting drunk, murdering everybody throughout the sewers, going into somebody else's house, and then like waking up and forgetting all about and blacking out, then this guy is a monster. We are playing the monster. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. I couldn't really make myself out anymore. Wasn't sure if I wanted to. Our sink, which needed to be replaced. One of the taps was always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. The old house was charming for sure, but it wasn't always easy. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. Actually, those are pretty sweet, honestly. That's expensive right there. It's like thousands of dollars. Actually, I have no idea, but yeah. It seemed impractical at times, but was part of what made that house home. Rachel? My laptop had been left on, and I only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key on the top of the drawer list. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. The laptop was warm. It had been running for a while. Maybe the person in the forest was Rachel. Maybe she's been running away from me this entire time and finally found out where I was to make sure I stayed safe, but still. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Please don't tell me I actually murdered Rachel. I'm not sure. I locked the basement door. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. I couldn't even remember our last Christmas. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key there. Did I take the key? Yes, I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. We had way too much junk. Looked like there was plaster and an old trowel in there too. I had put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck, and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. Did I get a trowel? No, I'm gonna have to see if maybe that old key is what opens up the upstairs door here. I'll find something to break through that door. The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. Looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I take the crowbar? Yes. Lift the heavy crowbar. I appreciate its weight. By the looks of it, the crowbar had broken a few things. Please don't tell me I locked Rachel in the basement. Did I break through the wall with a crowbar? I mean, at this point, yes, I kind of have to, otherwise the story ends here. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Don't look. Don't look. I'm getting the creepy shivers here. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile and see what lay within, but I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, well, look within the rags. Did I finally find my Rachel? It was worse than I possibly could have possibly imagined. It was worse than I could have possibly imagined. Within the folds of that rotten-smelling heavy fabric was the pale, dead figure of my darling wife. This is giving me the chills, actually. Holy crap. Give me a second. What struck me the most was that she wasn't bloody or torn apart. Rather, she was covered in sickly green bruises, and her windpipe had been crushed. The real horror there was that whoever had killed her had done it so intimately, with bare hands. So this is what had been gnawing at the back of my mind this whole time. This is what I was afraid of. I thought about all I had seen and wondered if any of it could have helped me figure out who had done this. And when I couldn't stay there any longer, I stepped away on the shaky legs and made my way back upstairs. Reluctantly, exhausted from my journey, I could no longer resist the urge to close my eyes. Here's my wallet, with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again. Maybe somebody stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at those places before? Technically, yes, I have been because of the way I walked from them. I got back home. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember? It wasn't off in any damn forest. Maybe I would use some of Rachel's travel books and find some places to go. No matter what, I need some kind of escape. There, that was decided. I mean, was it me? This was the old photo of that other man and his wife, I assumed. I found it in that house. I recall those faded remains I had found deep underneath this house. What had he done there? Well, what did I think? Was that man involved in this whole mess somehow? Yes, definitely. Those tunnels, the odd tools in his house, and the remains of his wife. He wasn't innocent, that's for sure. I'm not sure if he was the guy who did all the murdering, but yeah. I got it wrong, I think. But who had killed him? Within the few broken pieces that remained of that mirror, I could see my face had grown pale and weak. Couldn't bear to look again. It was like I didn't actually expect a reflection. It felt empty and drained. Perhaps I would never know how that mirror came to be broken. Was it by Rachel's assailant, or by Rachel herself? The thought lingered, and would haunt me forever. The reflection in that grimy glass was only a shadow, a whisper. The quiet in that room unnerved me terribly. I still loved the old-timey charm of that claw-footed bathtub, though it seemed like cold comfort then. Rachel loved this part of the house. I'm thinking maybe that this guy did kill his wife, but yeah, it was like it's still he ended up there somehow, but didn't kill everybody because everybody else is still part of some other weird thing. But then again, Norman was dead. And there was blood. There is blood on the guy's pants and shoes, so... It was the key card I found in that factory, the one that let me to slip through that door. It seemed to me that it was probably Norman's, but if that was true, what was he doing back at the plant? Did I think Norman was going back to the factory? I don't know. There was a lot of booze there, but Norman might have been Norman because he didn't have that photo that he might have taken from this gentleman. So let's go with yes. It must have been him. He must have been using the old locker room. Maybe I was wrong. I made my mind. Damn it. I'm trying to do my best here to get the actual thing, the actual ending. The laptop had finally run out of power. How long had it been left running? For a long time, that's for sure. Damn it. I'm trying to get everything right here. My old office safe sat on the floor. It used the digital passcode lock. Did I try to open it? Yes. Oh, man. I don't know the code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is way more than 8. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Couldn't remember. I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest, and it were the names that had been written down: Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. Who is the one that did this? There was somebody else. Those poor girls. Were they victims of the same person who had killed Rachel? I wonder what happened to the other names on that list, or the ones scratched out in the desk in those wet tunnels. The man in that house, was he responsible? When I woke up, I had found him dead already. He'd know what's in that safe. Huh. It was the letter I had taken from the postbox. Rachel, were you really having an affair with Norman? But why? I didn't think things were that bad. In the letter, Rachel seemed concerned. She almost seemed worried about what Norman might do. Did he do that to Rachel? She did seem a little worried. And I mean, this gentleman here did have blood in his pants and shoes, so somehow he got it on there. But there was no fingerprints left on anything as far as I could tell. So did Norman kill Rachel? Or did that random man in the forest kill Rachel? But an intimate, yeah, suffocated and bruises, so she was beaten and then strangled to death. I mean, there's a possibility of it being Norman killed Rachel. This gentleman here, the main protagonist, was so angry that he got drunk and then killed Norman, and struck with grief from killing his friend and losing his wife, he then ended up going somewhere else. So I'm thinking maybe this guy killed Norman. I'm gonna go with yes. I was sure of it. She wanted to end their affair, and that bastard, he killed her for it. A lot of it made sense. Norman was clearly seeing Rachel a lot, so he had plenty of time to plan it out. He knew where we lived, obviously. So why Rachel looked so scared when I came home that day? What happened to me? Did Norman knock me out or something? From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for that stupid things like buying this TV. Just thinking about things like that made me sick with grief. I didn't know what to think. I just wanted to put this whole mess behind me. What is the number to the safe? Ugh. I feel like I have the code somewhere. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. The mail still sat there, heaped on the floor. How long had Rachel been lying in the basement? There was nothing for me here anymore, no reason to stay in that house. Did I leave? Never to return? No. I definitely had to think about it more. Let's go into the kitchen. There would be no more dinners here, no more chit-chat over breakfast, at least not for us. I couldn't recall when I last ate, but I wasn't hungry in the least. Don't blame you. I must have locked the door. There was no reason for me to return to the backyard anyway. Back in the basement. Rachel. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I'd already seen too much. I need to put an end to the situation, one way or another. One way or the other. I think there's different ways to get this stuff in here. How do I open up the safe? Where I missed... I don't have an inventory or anything to find. Yeah. There's no way to find anything, so... I think that's it. There was nothing for me here anymore. No reason to stay in that house. Did I leave, never to return? Yes. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plan had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. When the Fire Nation attacked. I guess that's what... I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. I had MRIs and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear I had tried to give it up. I know it. The sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she had tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night I had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was the final act of a long-standing horror I had been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in that house had something to do with all this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things that I had seen to think otherwise. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might feel safer. I was wrong. The security tape I'd watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like two people. But who was it that was attacked? With Rachel gone, the implications of what had happened that night were starting to gnaw at me. Someone had clearly taken my wallet. It wasn't me in those woods, or at Norman's. But who could have done so, and why drop my things all over the place? Was someone trying to incriminate me? Even more troubling were those poor girls I had found in those terrible woods, half hidden in a shallow grave. Their secret deaths seemed like the ultimate defiling. If I hadn't found them, would anyone have done so? Would they have even been missed? I vaguely recall the desk I had seen in those tunnels, the names etched there. Someone had killed those girls. Was it that man? It was clear, at least, that Norman had been going back to the old plant. Maybe he was the one who had boarded up that locker room, who had been drinking up there in that secret hiding place. So, had he killed that guard then? He must have. Maybe he was found out, or the guard had caught him on patrol. Damn it, Norman. Why? After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store, but all I had found were more horrors and more questions. Now that I really had to consider it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you were dead, and it was damn hard to feel bad about that. It was clear you and Rachel were more than just friends, but obviously whatever had been going on had gone badly. So why did you kill her? Did she want out of whatever you two were getting into? Were responsible for the other murders and of those other horrible things that had gone in that town? I would find no peace, that much was certain. But this way, I didn't have to look you in the eye or sit through some kind of trial and wonder what was going through your head. When I marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end. And I guess in a way it did, but how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now, coming through the back door and into the kitchen should have tipped me off that something was horribly wrong. There was no sound of television, radio, or even the air was still. But seeing Rachel there, lying ruined and discarded in the basement, that was a horror I could never have managed. That other man I had found was involved in all this somehow. I knew it. But it was Norman, that traitorous son of a bitch. who had done the deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express, but it offered no strength, no solace. Rachel was gone now, and I was too. Forever. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn into? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. And that's it. That's home, everybody. I know, I can guess, I don't know, but I can guess that ending right there would have been different had I found more things, had I maybe looked into that one other room in the factory and found more stuff, maybe got more clues to it. But I didn't. I went and then got somewhere else and then got stuck in there and I couldn't do it. I was dedicated to my wife Nancy. Watch your back. But yeah. So do we really know if it was Norman who killed the wife? We don't really know if there's anybody else. Yeah. I'm sure this story is much differenter. That's for you to decide as well if that's good or not. But yeah, that was home, everybody. And I guess the story is up for you to try and see if you can figure out something else. Maybe I missed something. Maybe the order of which I found things was change it. But I mean, really only Benjamin Rivers knows. So, anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this story and have yourself a good night. Ciao.